So since this is your first time working with video notes, you need to take notes and examples as you go, just as if I was teaching this live in class. If you need to stop, if I'm going too quickly, you can pause. If you need to rewind or replay, you can do that as well. Alright, so we're going to do two videos today. The first one is on relations, and basically anytime we have an ordered pair, we have a relation, because somehow X and Y are related to each other, and they are related on a graph as an ordered pair. So anytime we have an ordered pair, we have a relation. Now I know you guys know how to graph this, so I don't need to review that, but I do want to talk to you about two words that I'm not sure if you've heard of before, and that is domain and range. Alright, now the domain, this is talking about all of the X values, and the range is talking about all of the Y values. Now, when we talk about domain, you might remember different words from last year or the year before. Sometimes people will say input and output. You might have even heard of independent, which is the X, and that would mean that the Y would be dependent. But when we say domain and range, that's more of the algebraic way of talking about the X and the Y values of our relations. So, as an example, let's say that I gave you these ordered pairs. So let's say you had 3, 9, negative 1, 2, 4, 7, and 0, 2. Alright, if you were asked to state the domain, then what you're going to do is you're going to tell what numbers are in place of the X. So I'm going to use the set notation to show that these are numbers in the domain, and I'm going to write them from smallest to largest. So I'm looking for the numbers in the X position. Alright, so the domain would be negative 1, 0, 3, and 4. And again, I've written them in order from smallest to largest. Now, if we were asked to name the range, we are just going to name the points that appear in the Y position, or our output position of the function. Now again, I'm going to write them in order from smallest to largest. So it looks like 2, and then 2 again, I don't need to write it twice, and then 7, and then a 9. So when we talk about domain, we're talking about the variables, or sorry, the values for the X. And when we talk about the range, we are referring to the values of the Y's. Now I mentioned graphing just a minute ago, and the only thing I want to review is the 4 quadrants. So when we have our X and Y axis, this is split into 4 parts. We name them with Roman numerals, and this is quadrant 1. This over here is quadrant 2. This one is quadrant 3. And then this one is the 4th quadrant. So quadrant 4. So the way I usually tell students is it makes a C. So it starts here and makes a C. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, at this point you can go ahead and stop the video, pick up today's worksheet, and when you've completed that, then you can start the second video on functions.